Mate, who's currently briefing the media on this matter, and then let's just listen in.
Vehicles were illegally registered under EMPD, and in addition, they were fitted with blue lights. And in addition, through our investigation as the Commission's recommendations task team, we found that they also provided Kat Matlala with an appointment card, which would assist him to identify himself as a law enforcement officer. So from our investigation, we feel that this was a way of assisting Kat Matlala to continue with his criminal activities by obviously utilizing his own private vehicles as police official vehicles and utilizing blue lights. So that is where this investigation emanated. So a journalist by the name of Jeff Wicks then sent an inquiry to the city in 2023, and that is when this whole case was uncovered, where it was found that it is alleged that the Deputy Chief, Mr. Julius Behari, is the one that had unlawfully registered the 4 private security vehicles of Kat Matlala under EMPD, and it was later found that they did not operate as EMPD vehicles. Kat Matlala was still driving these particular vehicles, and those particular vehicles, as I've indicated, were fitted with blue lights. Upon receiving this inquiry, that is when allegedly Mr. Julius Behari goes back and deregisters the vehicle. An internal departmental investigation was then initiated, and that's when he was suspended. There was a criminal case that was also registered, but we are told that the then city manager, as well as the 2 HODs, then uplifted his suspension. They also blocked, shielded and protected him from any disciplinary processes that would unfold. They also blocked the criminal investigation, we are told, because we are told that someone was given an instruction to then withdraw the case. So further investigation then tells us that later on, the 2 HODs, as well as Mr. Julius Behari, later got salary increments that were allegedly not approved by council, and that is what has brought us here today. And that is why the Commission's recommendations task team investigated a case of fraud and corruption, and that is what has led us here today. But now I'll hand over to the NPA to obviously elaborate further on the charges.
Thank you very much, and thank you to the viewers and the listeners. From our side, we have basically gone through the court process today, where you are clear that we are charging them with fraud and corruption, especially as it relates to the promotions that were done in Ekurhuleni. And we are in the process now where 2 of them have been granted bail of 50,000 rand, which I am told they will only pay tomorrow. And then the other 2 will appear again tomorrow so that they can go through the bail condition. Because the reason why they are separated is because they still have to verify the addresses of the 2 and to make sure that everything is tied up. Because if those addresses are not verified, it might cause problems in the future. And from our side, we really, as the NPA, would like to thank the task team, which is the Commission Recommendation Task Team. And I always want to emphasize the fact that it's a task team that consists of both the investigators from the police and the prosecutors. It's what we call prosecution-guided investigation. Therefore, what they do every day really produces the kind of results that you see. And then we really appreciate the law enforcement agencies that are working together in a manner that will provide result as soon as possible. We hope that this matter will be finalized as soon as possible, because we do not want any delays from our side, and we hope the same shall not apply from their side.
Any more possible arrests on the cards, and failure to pay bail now, what happens next? And when I ask about the possible arrests, because we know of an individual called Chris Steyn, who was the fleet manager at EMPD, also implicated the Madlanga Commission pertaining to what Atlenda just spoke about.
Yeah, obviously that is what Atlenda I will talk about, because investigations are continuing as far as I know, and if there are new extra people that needs to be brought in, they will be brought in.
Well, at this stage, we cannot rule out the possibility of effecting further arrests, but I think it's quite important to send a stern warning out there that it is illegal for any member of the public, a civilian, to utilize or fit blue lights on their private vehicles. It is in contravention of the National Road Traffic Regulations. It is a criminal offence for any civilian to fit and utilize blue lights, because according to the National Road Traffic Regulations Act, only SAPS officers, military police, traffic officials are authorized to utilize, to firstly fit blue lights on their vehicles and utilize blue lights. So, and that is why we are saying that it was highly unlawful for CAT VIP protection services for vehicles to be fitted with blue lights, and also to be unlawfully registered under EMPD to create an impression that it's EMPD vehicles. So obviously this would give CAT Matlala obviously that opportunity to bypass any roadblocks, because these particular vehicles would then be registered under EMPD. So he would evade justice and so on, and he would be free to do any other criminal activities that we are currently seeing before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. So I think it's quite important to send out that stern warning to say if anyone is found to have fitted blue lights on their private vehicles, they will face the full might of the law. They will face the full might of the law.
There has been a question or a challenge by the defense lawyers saying that the charges that have been preferred against their clients are very vague. But we understand that the NPA has been assisting the investigation team. Is there a reason why not all of the charges have been stated clearly on that charge sheet?
I think they said that before they could read the charge sheet. And you have heard, immediately after they've read the charge sheet, they all came back and agreed that it's Schedule 5 offences, because it was very clear from our side. As far as we are concerned, it is not something that we do in the first appearance where we willingly just come and give the charge sheet, but we did that because of transparency. And after they read it and saw the things that Atlenda was talking about indicated there, they all came back and agreed that the charges are not vague, and they agree that they are Schedule 5.
And perhaps why did you decide not to oppose a bail for the two accused whose addresses are verified?
Yeah, it is very clear from our side that bail is not a punishment. If there is no reason for us to oppose bail, we will do that, because bail is just meant to secure that the people come to court. Therefore, in this case, because we are able to verify where to find them and there are conditions that are attached, there is no need for us to oppose. That is why, with the others, it was only the issue of verification of the further residences that we could see on our system. Therefore, bail is not a punishment, and people must understand that.
What happens if the accused can't pay bail?
Obviously, if we are not able to pay bail, you cannot get out of jail. Therefore, you'll have to wait for your date of the next appearance.
So this means that they're going to be in custody, all of them, because you mentioned the accused, cannot pay bail at this current juncture.
No, the issue with the two that were granted bail is that the bail office is always closed now. Therefore, if tomorrow morning, because they are granted bail, if tomorrow morning they come and pay bail, they will go.
Mr. Khanyafa, I'm anticipating some questions from the public. And we've learned a lot from the Josie Banyoni case. And people are obviously starting to ask just about how today's proceedings went. There seems to have been a push for things to happen speedily, right? And one could argue that ordinary members of society don't really enjoy this haste. and the speed that we saw. And I'm not saying it's on your side. I mean, you wanted the matter postponed to next week. But what do you say in just reassuring people that, you believe in the court process, the justice system, that things are carried out fairly, that everyone is equal, as the law says, before it? But also, secondly, we saw the issues around the administrative challenges, really. Are we assured that going forward, perhaps things will not get us into a position where it's a back and forth between yourselves and the defense? And around the clarification of the amounts, the increases, is this all of them that received increases? If you could just maybe clarify that particular aspect for us.
Yeah, so many questions that you asked.
Exactly.
Yeah, and in as far as we are concerned, I think I've got a different view from yours in terms of the hastiness of the proceedings. I felt the proceedings were delayed by all the breaks that happened, because if they were not delayed, we would not be here. I think the people who were granted bail would have paid bail at a time before the bail office closed. Therefore, it was not running smoothly, because from our side there was only one thing that was going to be done. We wanted a postponement, and then if not, if the magistrate decided otherwise, then the only thing that we needed to do was to deal with the bail applications. Therefore, that was the only thing on the table. Nothing was done hastily, and then therefore it becomes problematic for us to say it was done hastily. Everybody is the same before the law, and then the matters that we are relating to in terms of the increases, they are there in the docket, in the documents that will be before the court. And as Atlanta has indicated, it is very clear that we feel, as the state, that their promotions were gratification for the assisting the matters that related to Mr. Mkhwanazi. Therefore, those are the arguments that we will put before court.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.